What is up, everyone? Welcome back to Optimal EV. Today I'm going to be giving you a build guide and rundown on the all-new 2023 GV60.
This is Genesis's first electric SUV, and it's pretty expensive. So let's jump into the details, and we'll discuss why. Okay, so here we are on the main page of the Genesis GV60. As you can see, starting off, the range is about 248 miles, and it very explicitly says EPA estimated range for the GV60 Advanced. Moving on, horsepower, 314 horsepower, and starting MSRP of $58,890.
It's an expensive Genesis.
Yeah, it starts off kind of steep. The range is obviously a little subpar compared to what we are used to at this point in the market. 314 horsepower, pretty average too. So moving on, we have powertrain options.
You're going to see you have the all-wheel drive and the performance all-wheel drive. So you will see that the range will drop from 248 miles to 235 miles. I mean, when the range is already that low, it's really hard to upgrade it to performance, especially for $9,000. We're really at the Chevy Bolt range,
right?
And the ID4 range, and those lower priced EVs, and it's not too much bigger than those cars. So we're really, for that price, it's kind of getting a little steep for how much the range is there.
Yeah, I think it's important to know or have a really good idea of how many miles you are trying to drive and if this range is appropriate. Because I think at a certain point, if 300 miles is too much for you and something just over 200 is perfect, that opens up a lot of options for you to consider. That being said, if you are looking for a luxury car and range doesn't really matter, there might be other options available.
Exactly. And, what are your first thoughts just on looks?
Appearance-wise, I think this car looks super good. I am a huge fan of Genesis. I will admit outright I have a bias because I think these cars look really good. That being said, I have seen a few of the new models in white, and I think the headlights look kind of weird with this color. I think in general they look really sharp, but on the road it seemed kind of strange.
Yeah, I think my first thought was Mustang Mach-E kind of style.
Yeah, sort of.
Yeah, what kind of threw me off is the wheels seem way more aggressive than the car. I think the car looks really cute. It doesn't look super aggressive or sporty. It looks nice, luxurious, but the wheels just, I don't think, match it on the advanced all-wheel drive. You will see that once you select the performance all-wheel drive, they do change. And even then, I still think they look a little like Mustang-ish almost.
Right, a little too aggressive. I know what you mean.
Yeah, compared to the rest of the body style. But besides that, I think the car looks really good. It's definitely short compared to most Genesis. Genesis, they're really long vehicles.
Right.
So it's, kind of a different style they're going for.
I like the spoiler on the back. The rear taillights, again, kind of like the front. This is the part that kind of weirded me out. It might just be that it was because I saw it in, white, specifically in the daytime. But overall, the car does look pretty nice. I don't quite see it resembling other Genesises other than that front grille and maybe the lights.
Yeah, it is different. Definitely very different.
It sticks out for sure.
Yeah, and the only thing that does change from the Advanced to the Performance is those wheels. So when you select it, you will see that nothing else on the body does change. So just to make sure you're aware of that before we click into each option.
Right. As for the actual changes here, it looks like it upgrades to electronically controlled suspension and it gives you the highway driving assist, which I think that's kind of crazy that they don't give you highway driving assist on the standard package at $58,800.
That's a lot of money.
Yeah. I would expect that to be something that's pretty standard.
Yeah, and then there's, unfortunately, there's no option for rear-wheel drive yet. So people who don't really need the all-wheel drive, you won't be able to get that and get the higher range.
Yeah.
So.
No 0 to 60 time registered here, but I can only assume that with 429 horsepower on a car that's not that huge, that it's definitely quick. I'm sure this thing keeps up pretty well.
It's going to be sub 5 seconds for sure.
Yeah.
And then we're going to select the advanced all-wheel drive to start. So you're going to see that we're going to go into our packages where there's just a standard package. It's going to tell you that it has the 20-inch rims, the power shades, the hands-free smart liftgate, so we'd kick underneath the trunk.
Yep.
Leather surfaces, which is nice. At least they give that included. Trims, and a bunch of other stuff that you can go through and look yourself. If you have any questions on it, just leave them down in the comment section below.
Right. Unfortunately, there's not really too much for you to customize here. You either go with the standard package or you don't get the car.
Yeah.
So,
and we're going to highlight some stuff at the end, just some standard features that are definitely important for you to know before you go and purchase one.
Right. Standard luxury features here, of course. But at the end of the day, I really think you are paying heavily for that Genesis name.
Yeah, 100%. And then colors, it's nice to see some variety here.
Yeah, a lot of different options. And these look pretty good.
Yeah, we have the Alta White, the Uni White.
A Uni White? I'm not sure how you pronounce that one.
$575 as an option. The Vic Black. These are some weird names going on.
Yeah,
They're trying to throw
Seville
us off
Silver.
here. Then we have the Himalayan Gray, which what you're saying, it does look better with the lights, the headlights for sure.
Yeah, I think the darker this car is, the better that the headlights kind of like blend into the shape of the car. I don't know how to describe that other than if you like see it in person, that might make more sense.
Yeah.
Moving on, we have the Atacama Copper, which I honestly think copper looks pretty good on this.
I do.
It's not dark, so I don't know how it would look in person, but I honestly think it looks good.
I think if you go too light on like the coppers or bronze, it's not that nice looking, but this is kind of a perfect middle, which seems like it has a nice metallic shine to it.
Moving on, we have a very interesting Sao Paulo lime. I don't like this.
No.
I feel like this goes on a Lamborghini or nothing else.
And it's funny, BMW actually says Sao Paulo Yellow.
Wow.
So yeah, similar color too. That's interesting. Mono Red.
That looks pretty good, pretty average red. And then lastly, we have Hanawama Mint. I'm definitely pronouncing that wrong, but I think it's almost equally as unique as the lime. And, it's just a personality trait of coming with this car.
Yeah, and it's the only color that you get that doesn't have any extra cost option is that white and the yellow. So it's interesting that yellow is a no cost option when it's so exotic, but
right.
It's nice. And then when it comes to interior colors, so on certain colors you'll see that the interior changes. It's just the yellow.
So it looks like just lime here is the only option that does not allow you to switch to the ash gray interior.
Yep. So then if you go back to one of the other colors, you will see the ash gray, which we'll show you on the interior here. Me and Sam have always been a very big fan of the light colors on the interior, and it looks like it kind of matches a lot of the trim on the car.
Yeah, so let's take a minute to talk about the interior. I think the darker option definitely looks better here, unless maybe you go with white on the exterior. I think it would be best just white everything at that point. Mm-hmm. There's a lot going on here, too, if you look around the edge of the cabin. So I can't really tell if those are the door handles or if those are extra air vents.
Or a speaker, a tweedler, but they're up there.
Right. There's looks like there's a handful of speakers in here, but those could also be, one of those adjustable knobs for the AC. I don't really know. But they do have a really nice center dash. You have a nice curved screen that orients just to the driver. The steering wheel itself looks really clean. I think it's just, standard leather wrapped, but kind of wide in the middle. I know that you don't typically like that, but...
Yeah, I don't know if I'd love the steering wheel. It doesn't look like it has the kind of grip I am into, but... definitely looks nice. I would say that the white, it is kind of unique that it changes the entire color of the interior, similar to the launch edition ID4, which was cool. They had a white steering wheel on it, which was, I think looked way better on the car.
For sure.
So the black makes everything else blacked out. So it's definitely a major difference. The one thing I do dislike a lot is when companies make the carpets match the interior color, because then these light carpets get dirty so fast. You're just going to have to replace them with a black all-weather mat.
Yep.
So that's just one thing I think most brands need to switch up on.
Yeah, if you switch over to the obsidian black on the interior, you can actually see that a lot of the buttons are illuminated, and they might be also illuminated on the other option, but it doesn't really show as apparently. It looks like you can see a slight glow, but maybe it's just the lighting because it's so dark that it really pops with this. And I think that's actually pretty cool. It looks like you have illuminated like trunk popping, your power button, and all of the buttons on the like front left-hand side of the wheel. All of this is illuminated, which looks really good. I think if anything, my one small critique here is that the glove compartment is like irrelevant. It just looks really small. So maybe that thing opens up to like a deep pocket in the back, but it just looks really kind of like too small.
Yeah, and again, we're basically just giving you our first thoughts and making sure you understand the colors and the options, just because, we haven't sat in this vehicle particularly, but this is the only pictures they're showing you. So before you even go into a dealer to discuss further options or sit in one or drive one, we just want to make you sure that you're aware of everything that is in the car from that first glance, because that's the most important thing when you just start your search for a new car.
Yeah, I think the climate control access is super good. Everything is right there, and it's a physical button from what it appears to be, which I know is a pretty common preference still at this point for most consumers. And then the center console itself looks kind of bulky, but it looks like there's a lot you can do from there. I wouldn't be surprised if you can control just about everything you want from that center console.
Yeah, and I don't know about you, but do you get like EV6 and Ioniq 5 vibes from the interior? Like
a little bit. The screen is definitely bigger than the Ioniq 5. But the EV6, it definitely does kind of remind me of that.
Yeah. So then we're going to move on. You're going to see our accessories, where me and Sam always kind of discuss. You probably can get a lot of accessories, from outside parties or third parties that are cheaper.
That being said, it's just a first aid kit.
That's it.
There's nothing else here.
That's a lot of stuff in there, too.
I really am just surprised that Genesis, being where Genesis is at right now, doesn't offer more availability on, just like options. There's really just nothing you can customize on this car at all.
Yeah, I think that brands should really start to show accessories, not accessories like floor mats or little things or cargo nets, which we see all the time. Yeah. They should add accessories that you can actually put in your car, like badges or, different covers on things,
like Genesis stuff,
exactly.
just stuff that you can exactly
stuff. Yeah.
Like accessories of Genesis, so that you can be like, hey, this reminds me of my car.
Yeah, or a sunshade. Like, I'm sure people buy more by seeing it on the builder than actually
just small stuff
going online. So once we get to the final part, you'll see that this went to $59,000. So there's really not much you can add, which is nice. At least they include most of it for that price, even though it is expensive.
Yeah, it's kind of like you could make the argument comparison to Tesla. They don't really offer many options other than the color of your car, but they deliver a solid product. So maybe Genesis is kind of going along that same pattern with this. It's their first electric SUV. They want to keep it simple. They want to just make a lot of the same thing and see how the market reacts.
Yeah, a lot of brands are definitely just trying to figure it out and see if that Tesla model is the right model or if they want to go in their own direction and change it up. And you'll see when we select the trim, when we go to the performance all-wheel drive, that is 67,890. Again, the wheels do change, but there's no other package changes. The only thing that does change after that is the colors. So you'll get a new white that will give you this really incredible navy blue interior. Yeah. So when we switch over, this insane interior, the stitching of the yellow, the blue steering wheel, that's super unique. Haven't seen that. In this case, the blue carpets work just because it isn't that light. It won't get that dirty. But
this feels like one of those cars that's kind of like a Bentley. You know what I mean? Like the interior, not the car itself, but the interior, just this color puts off like a very, very, I don't know, just feels kind of like a classic luxury car. Mm-hmm. It feels really kind of strange.
Yeah, and it's cool. I assumed they let you get the yellow with the blue as well.
Right.
That's the only other color you can get it with because it does match that stitching. So if I was building a GV60, even though the yellow is kind of crazy, I think it would look really sweet with the yellow and the blue interior with that, yellow stitching.
In my opinion, I think you would look crazy for having that combination.
Yeah,
but that being said, there is one small thing that I'd like to point out, and there is a small green button on the bottom right-hand side of the steering wheel. Now, there is no mention of what that does on the website. Maybe someone out there in like an online blog post knows what this is about, but this is only available in the improved performance.
I'm guessing it's some kind of 0 to 60 or launch control.
Yeah, like launch control or something that immediately puts you into sport mode, something like that.
Yeah, it's like Mercedes. They put on their steering wheel the different modes so you can change it. So I'm sure that's what it is. But if anyone has any insight, leave down in the comment section below. I'd love to hear about it. And that brings our total to $68,985. So you're pushing $70,000 on this vehicle. That's a lot of money.
Yeah, this is a lot of money indeed. I think it's kind of strange that they don't quite give us all the specs that there are. Like, I just want to know how fast the 0 to 60 is, because if you're buying a performance model, you should have at least decent expectations to know what you're getting out of it instead of just having to assume based off horsepower and like the weight of the car how fast you can go. But other than that, I just think it's fairly overpriced for what they're telling us.
Yes, and it's something like when we were talking about Kia, I remember it was hard to find the 0 to 60 time on their website. I think it's something you should put up front so that it's easier for consumers to make a decision on which vehicle is best for them. All right, and then just some quick highlights of the standard features: the 20-inch wheels, the leather surface we talked about, the driver power seats, heated and ventilated front seats. Now, it's something that's nice. The ventilated are not always standard when you get a vehicle, so with that price.
Heated steering wheel. Pretty expected here. 12.3-inch entertainment system, which we all saw in the pictures.
Apple CarPlay.
Yep,
Android
that
Auto.
comes standard, which is nice. And Bang & Olufsen premium audio. We've mentioned this in the past. Definitely a very premium audio source.
Heads-up display, something that isn't taking notes from Tesla. So it's nice to see that.
Active noise control. Now, this is very interesting because not a lot of people are doing this. I feel like this could be something to tune out road noise that might make your travels like silent, which I'm very interested in hearing myself.
Yeah, and also I know with the radio, sometimes companies will make it so that it increases the volume of the radio as you accelerate, so it's kind of like an adaptive sound. Then we have our wireless charger, very important. With chip shortages, I know it's been hard to get in some vehicles, but
there's a fingerprint sensor in here. That's kind of crazy. I mean, I would love to have them promote this car in a better way, just so that these options were more easily displayed and accessible.
Yes, because fingerprint authentication and face connect is pretty awesome for, even being in the automotive world at all.
It's just like, how are you using it? Are you using it to unlock the car, to start the car, to like access certain features in the car, to access certain preferences for your climate control, stuff like that?
Yeah, and you have surround view cameras, blind spot, lane keep assist, forward collision, rear cross traffic alert, highway driving assistant, smart cruise.
Right.
There's just so many different features on here that I feel they have not done a good job at, explaining the website unless you actually click into the standard features on the vehicle. So
right, a lot of standard safety features that we love to see in premium cars. So it could definitely justify the price. But I just want examples, maybe like a video or something on the website, any type of more details that we could get out of performance, I would love to see.
Yeah, there are a lot of great options though. And, if you're someone that really likes the premium brands and the premium fit and finish, maybe this vehicle is still for you, even at this price. And you might not need the range. So that's always a plus. So if you have any questions, make sure to leave them down in the comment section below on any of those standard features.
All right, that concludes our build guide and rundown on the all-new Genesis GV60. This car isn't quite out yet, and orders are just being able to be placed now, so hopefully they will start deliveries sometime next year.
Yep, and I know there's a lot, again, standard features that aren't explained a ton, so if you have any questions about those features, leave them down in the comment section below. Again, we'll do the research for you. We're just trying to help you when you're in that starting process, which EV you're looking to buy. So hopefully this video helped you out, and again, if you have any questions, even if it's this car or if you want us to review something else, just let us know in the comment section below. Make sure to like and subscribe, and we will see you in the future.